I'm King Green. Deeper conversations about hip hop. It's early today. Get your rap latte. You know what I'm talking
What?
about? Got you know what I'm saying?
What?
This is coming
What's in
soon,
there?
everybody. It's coming
What?
soon. Coming soon.
What's in there? I want to know what you're drinking.
Nah, some rap latte. You know what I'm talking about? Something coming soon. It's coming
Yo,
soon.
the mug is so exclusive. Only one of us has it. I ain't got
Facts.
mine yet, but when I get
Facts.
mine, we're gonna make it available to everybody. So excited for
Yep.
all of y'all who've been on this journey with us, who keep rocking with us, come back every day for the chats. Yo, you know what's funny? Is last night at 1 a.m. I stumbled onto the Kanye or Ye and Justin LeBoy interview, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Yo, I gotta tell Green, we gotta talk about this on the show." But it's 1 a.m. I can't be texting a nigga at 1 a.m. and have the notifications go off and be like, "You texted me at 1 a.m. It's not an emergency? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?" And like, I'll just wait till the morning. I wake up in the morning. This nigga texted me at 2 a.m. to be like, "Oh, you gotta check out this Ye Justin LeBoy
This
interview."
Yay Justin LeBoy. Like,
Crazy,
seriously.
but
It
it's there's some nuggets in there. There's some, Justin is his friend, so it's not journalistic, but he does ask some good questions. He does get into the mental health of it all a little deeper
mm-hmm.
than we have before. We
What did
learned
you
that Kanye considers himself or not bipolar, but autistic. We did not get any conversation about what that means or what the difference between those two things or how it manifests. Although he did talk about this contrarianism that he linked to his autism, and that's why he goes left when the audience wants him to go right musically.
Yeah.
But he also tied that to him liking Trump, which
Yep.
I didn't appreciate that. You're a
The thing
contrarian.
there yeah, the contrarian thing is like this is my thing, even when we were talking about interviews yesterday, is like just because he says that, like he gave you context, but that doesn't mean it makes any damn sense or doesn't mean it's right or okay. Just because I told you, it's like, yo, okay, so I'm not really bipolar, I'm autistic, and my autism makes me want to do things I'm not supposed to do. And that's why I do it. And that's how I got here. I got my money right. You know what I'm trying to say? Because I
Right.
did everything that I wasn't supposed to do. And I'm like, thank you, Kanye. What the fuck does that have to do with you saying crazy shit? Like you
Yeah.
still say crazy shit, and he says crazy shit. The thing that you need to do is reprimand those things. That's what people would want to do. You just out here saying, "Yeah, I'm autistic, and these are my reasonings for doing this and all that." Like people who have autism carry jobs and live lives throughout their life. They don't go to their jobs and act like an asshole. And you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's a whole entire
Yeah.
spectrum
Yes.
of autism. So what are we talking about here? That doesn't mean like
I
it's okay
mean,
to
the
be an asshole.
contrarian impulse exists within a lot of people. Throughout my life, I've seen it from a certain sliver of black men in a community, any community of black men. There will always
Mm-hmm.
be one or two people who basically nominate themselves to be the contrarian, and you'll be at the barbecue, at the barbershop, in the park,
I
wherever,
hate those
talking
niggas.
about whatever, MCs, basketball, whatever. And this nigga want to talk about, well, I think Allen Iverson is the greatest
The
basketball
greatest
player of all
player of all
time.
time. Yeah.
Or I think fucking Jay-Z is a terrible rapper. And it brings a lot of attention to that person because you say something crazy and then everybody is focused on you. You'll have like the whole room arguing against you. There's no fucking way Iverson is the greatest. And everyone is hating. And like you get a lot of a dopamine, I think, from an ego boost from everybody's paying attention to me. And if you're the kind of person who can't differentiate between good and bad attention, like Kanye seems to be, like the
Mm-hmm.
contrarian, like that is like exciting to you. And Kanye's doing this at scale, which is fucking nuts.
At scale, definitely. That's what he is, and I think we've all even played that role sometimes, like the contrarian or whatever. I think sometimes you play advocate, sometimes you do that. I could be that guy sometimes. I'm not gonna lie to you, but at least I know I'm doing it, and it's not about being that guy fully. Like, he's committed to being that guy. That's what he just told you. He's like,
you might have a divergent opinion from most people on a given subject, but you're not trying to be the 1v20 guy because you have a left field opinion. Like, I genuinely believe, like, you come to it like, I genuinely believe this in this moment. It makes me contrarian from other people. But I think Kanye and the person I'm talking about, the archetype of the contrarian, they go into the situation mentally looking for the angle, right? We talk about what's the angle on the story. They're like, what's the angle that makes me the contrarian? Everyone else says it's Jordan, LeBron, or Kobe. I'm going to say it's Iverson. And then I'll be arguing with and you approach
all of the bullshit. Like, the bullshit was very enjoyable. We watched it. Like, we had to watch it, right? So what I enjoyed about the interview is the AI bullshit, him adding context to why he says crazy shit. But the AI thing was cool to me because it's like he tried to relate. He was like, yo, which I agree technically, but he says, yo, everybody didn't like auto-tune. People didn't like sampling when sampling came out. People didn't like auto-tune when auto-tune came out. And now I'm using AI. And he had a whole artist record something, switched up. You seen that part, right? Switched up the verse and made AI take over his verse and make it Kanye's vocals. You know what I'm trying to say? So he was using AI to not do the work. So basically he has someone else completely write it, which technically that's kind of what he does anyways. It's like someone's writing the verse and then he goes there and relays it. He's like, let me skip the middleman. You record the verse and I'll just change your voice into my voice. So now it's my song. That's what so this new album might be completely that, because that's what he did over there. And that's what people were saying about that song in the snippet. It was an AI vocal. And to me, you could kind of hear that shit. And to me, I think that is just in its entirety of him flipping everything on its head. And people are like, how are people going to deal with that? Like, how is his true fans going to deal with the fact that he didn't even record this shit? It's possible that he didn't record one verse on this new album. People like you too, I want to listen to this album. So what if you listen to this album, Toure, and not one verse was recorded by him? How do you feel about that?
Well, see, like you, I come partly from the art world. I studied that world. So the notion of authorship has been hyper discussed in that world over decades. So the notion of to be a painter, you don't necessarily have to put paint to brush, to canvas. There's at least one painter, his name is escaping me right now. He never touches the canvas. Other people are doing it in his style at his direction.
Koons.
But he never touches.
Doesn't do anything. Well, like Jeff Koons doesn't. He doesn't. He's not a paint, but
Jeff Koons is a fabricator, right? So he's making things, right? So I mean, yes, to that point, but he tells the engineers, make me a gigantic heart that has this amount of shine and this amount of color and these sort of things. And so, yeah, he's not actually making it. But I mean, I've spent a lot of time with Kehinde Wiley. He paints the faces and the hands, but he is not doing the backgrounds, right? He'll show you, here's my factory in China where people are making the backgrounds, right? And
we understand that, but what do you feel about that with music? How do you feel about that with his music?
Well, I mean, I'm saying, like,
you're talking to someone that
I'm as an artist, as the respect that I have for Kanye as an artist and the innovative nature he brings to the studio,
so you're
and the
okay
way he'll take. I would expect him to take that technology and elevate it and to find some way to make it an even higher sort of thing. I would expect he's not going to use that for laziness. He's going to use this in a way that freaks this technology. So I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know that could do that. Like, you're pushing the edges. Like, I fuck with that. So that wouldn't kill me. Like, I want to see what Kanye does with the tools. I'm not going to judge him for, well, you didn't actually get in the booth, but you told AI
he didn't write it.
You.
No, he didn't write it either, though.
I mean, but it to me, it becomes an experiment. He doesn't write a lot of his shit, right? But it just becomes an
Well, so I'm
experiment.
saying, think about this. Like
Kanye
chat is saying right now, we're live, guys. Thank you for being here. If you want to give us any super chats,
Sure.
throw it up so we can see what you guys are talking about. But and we got a special guest coming through, one of our guys. But what chat is saying, it says like, so he didn't write it and he didn't perform it. And did he produce it? Say if he doesn't even produce it. So he didn't produce it, he didn't write it, he didn't perform it. Would you enjoy it? This is a hypothetical. You think you still could enjoy it?
He didn't write it. He didn't perform it. He didn't
produce it.
Well, then how is it his? Like, in what way
That's
is it
the
his?
question. That's the question I'm
if
asking.
it's not his, I don't care. If it's just AI mimicking Kanye, I don't care. I mean, at this moment,
it's not AI. Let me explain the technology. No, let me explain exactly how it would work, okay? He has Mike Dean there, right? So say Kanye's like, oh, I like that sample. This is exactly how a song could go. I like this sample. Let's chop it up like this. This is what it is. Dean, arrange the sample and the drums and add some keys and put a guitar solo on there. That's what Mike Dean does. So Mike's helping and doing the production. He produced it up. The production sounds great. Hey, little RT, write a verse for this, sing the whole song. Little RT writes the whole thing, right? So Kanye didn't put hand to anything yet, but he said, I like this sample. Dean, add some keys and all that type of stuff. You write everything and record it. Then he tells his engineer, change little RT's voice to my voice with AI. That song, when you listen to it, how do you feel about it?
The production part I don't care about, right? A long time ago, it was explained to me that some producers don't touch the board. You
don't have to.
Yeah. So Rick Rubin, a Puffy, there's board touchers and there's people who don't touch the board. That is equal, right? I don't give you more credit because you touch the board versus you don't. Like, Kanye tells Mike or Che or whoever, do this, like what that I don't care about. The emceeing part, I'm like, well, because he told Mike what to do. He said, little RT, write a verse.
Yeah.
So now, if you didn't tell him what to do, you didn't give him a vibe, you didn't give him a direction.
No, he probably gave him some direction. Yeah. Like, he's talking from his perspective. He's talking from Kanye's perspective. You would want to
if Kanye, look, this goes to a deeper question. Do you imagine that because we expect Kanye is rocking with ghostwriters in the studio. Do you imagine that Kanye is sitting there working on the music and somebody walks in and hands him a piece of paper or whatever, or texts him like, this is the verse? Or Kanye's like, I want to talk about this and this and this and this and this. And the guy is like grabbing ideas out of the air and is like, oh, well, we could say it like this. And Kanye's like, that's great. Flip this a little bit like this. So it's a collaboration, right? As opposed to most MCs, they just writes it himself, right? So I'm like, is Kanye just receiving written words that are meant for him that he says, or he's in collaboration with the person?
I think it's both. I think it has been both in historic times. But one thing he said in the interview that we're talking about, he said, oh, I was talking about Quentin Miller. I was thinking about Quentin Miller because when he writes something, it's like 1-to-1. When he means by that is saying like, I ain't got to do shit. He gives me the shit's good, and then we could ship it. I could say exactly what that nigga said. You know what I'm trying to say? That's what he's saying about Quentin Miller, is that he can write from your perspective so well. Like, people say that about Jay-Z, of how Jay-Z wrote the Still DRE, right? Still Dre, right? He wrote that song, and we couldn't tell that's not from Dre's perspective or Snoop's perspective. He wrote everything. He said he wrote Snoop's parts and Dre's parts. So a great writer could write from someone else's perspective because you have respect for the person, you understand their life, and then you can write from their perspective, which I love doing. I've ghost written before. I write for people before. I love writing from a different perspective, even writing songs from a woman's perspective. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's possible for an artist to do.
Typically with a ghostwriter, are you just handing the person what you think they might want to say, or they're telling you, I want this, I want this, I want this?
Two ways. I've written an entire verse and someone said the whole thing verbatim. I've done it. There's that,
And did
and
they
then there's
tell you
being in
what
a
they wanted, or you came up with it all on your own?
conceptually they tell you the idea of the song. I had the idea of the song, and I just wrote it, right? And it didn't matter. And the song was so like frivolous that it didn't matter who the verse was kind of coming from. It's more so the concept of the song, right? That was that. Then there's being in the studio with someone, writing with them, and being like, oh no, write this here, use this word here. I wrote these 2 bars right here. Here's this punchline. Let's level up your writing so there's like an actual punchline in here, and it's not just like that. And that's for singer or rapper that I've done that for. And for singers, it's like they just take your song. The song you wrote the song, they just take the song. There's like sometimes they keep your vocal. Sometimes it's like your vocal is good.
There's not an expectation that the singer wrote the song. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. We respect singer-songwriters, but we also respect vocal artists. But in hip-hop, there's an expectation that you wrote the song, but we know a lot of people don't write the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing. We chat, we're early today. I see that everyone's just getting in now, which is funny. they're like people complaining about we're taking over their lunch break.
Felicia is like, I think Felicia's a little mad. She's like, I'm gonna get into hip hop. It's so easy. What was it? You said this is what hold on, what was the other thing you said? So Torre, you don't care about writing, production, the rapping, so basically nothing. No, I think that production means many things, and there are many ways to produce. It doesn't necessarily mean Dr. Dre sitting at a board, coaching, turning knobs. Like that is one vision.
That's not even really production. That's beat making when you break it down. Right. Like when someone's a beat maker, if you just give me a beat, that's not producing a record. That's what people don't understand. Like production, like you said, is authorship. It's the writing of and the curation and writing of the whole concept. That's what producing is. Quincy Jones is a producer and doesn't have to play every single instrument on there. It's like, no, this lick is good. Arrange it this way. Put this there. We need this beat to sound better. It's the entire authorship of the music and writing of and the lyrics and the sound. The entire song is being produced by this person. They have to think about everything. So it's like a director.
Right. Songwriting authorship is more complicated, at least externally, because when a Drake song comes out, he is suggesting I wrote the song. And I feel like we kind of got to accept it like this is Drake's song, or Playboi Carti, whoever. Did they actually write it? I don't know. I mean, I would assume Jay and Nas are writing all their shit, but I would assume Snoop writes all his shit too. And there he is telling us, figure it out. And Jay-Z came and wrote, like, Jay for Snoop. For Dr. Dre, I understand. I don't think Dr. Dre writes anything that he says. But for Snoop, fucking dog. But yes, so I mean, anybody can get a verse or a line or something from somebody somewhere. I don't know. I know people get so mad when we talk about rappers taking verses from other people, but I mean, I think it's a well-established process. Now,
no, that's a different person. That's a different category of a rapper that takes writing from another writer. You know what I'm saying? That's a different, like Dre and Kanye are in different categories. Kanye likes to talk about himself like, I'm the biggest rapper, blah 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 blah. It's like, no, you are one of the biggest hip hop artists ever, and can be in that conversation, a big hip hop artist ever, and using the art form that way. Yeah. But you are not in that rapper category. We all know that. You're not the person who's a writer. You're not in the writer category. Yes, you are. You were in that hip hop artist category, and still are with his catalog and everything. So no one's thinking about him. It's not that we have a problem with rappers getting verses from somebody. We have a problem with people considering themselves lyricists and that rapper archetype who get verses from other people.
Kanye must have a lot of say, even if he's getting a lot of ghostwriting help. He must have a lot of say in how it goes down, or at least an ability to write to a certain extent, because there is a Kanye line, right? There is a Kanye way of stating things, that sort of egotistical brag that, like, That's a Kanye way of putting it. And just in a world where lots of people are writing for you, but you can still create that sort of it's almost like a brand, like a way of talking, of bragging, of egotistical bragging that I'm like, only Kanye would say that shit. And like he's clearly either writing the shit or coaching people to be like, this is me. This is how I sound. This is what I want to be saying out here.
Let's see. We got a super chat. One says just towards the goal. The other one says I'm 100% okay with rappers not writing rhymes as long as it's openly known and we place those MCs in a different room from the true lyricists, MCs, and poets. Yes, that's just that we innately do that as a culture. It's like, oh, Dr. Dre is amazing, but he's not the best rapper ever.
But we don't always know who's writing and who's
That's
not.
our issue. Well, that's our issue.
Like, I think we assume Jay-Z and Nas are. We assume. I mean, do we assume Drake is not?
We don't assume Drake is not. We know Drake is not. What are you talking about? You're the biggest Drake hater. How do you not say that out loud?
No, I don't know. Okay, so Drake is definitely not. I mean, I'm wondering like, where's the line? Like, so you're saying Glorilla has writers? Are you saying? But we're sure Doechii writes for herself, right?
What do you mean Glorilla? I don't know if Glorilla has writers. You know that for a fact?
You don't know? Okay. All right.
I wouldn't put Glorilla like that. I wouldn't put her in that category. Whoever, like Cardi B, we know Cardi B has. I love Cardi B. I loved her first album. I love her energy. I love her presence on a track, her voice, how she takes other people's words and puts her personality on it. She's not.
Think Cardi has writers?
I don't think. I know. I know the guy.
What about Ice Spice?
Ice Spice, I have no clue.
I feel like the feeling I get is the more specific you are into your aesthetic and the more brilliant your shit, Jay, Nas, Doechii, 3K, that level, you're like, oh, you definitely wrote that shit. Because that's some 1%er thinking. Like nobody else could think of what 3K would think of.
Yeah.
If your shit is a little, it's easier to get to, right? It's not super complex. It's poppier. If you write a song that maybe could go to somebody else, and I'm like, you're catching ghostwriting. That's what I. Sometimes,
like maybe Sexy Red could be writing all her stuff. It has a certain personality to it and a character to it that seems very individual to her, or someone could be a part of that. It could be, but I'm not gonna put that on somebody just because it's not super dense and all that. You know what I'm trying to say?
That's just a perception. I totally agree with Jermaine as far as saying the people who write for themselves have to be in a different and higher level than the people who don't. But how do we know who is writing for themselves and who isn't?
I want to read this because he's trying to get a bar off, D2B, but I'm going to answer that too. He says, some of y'all sharing bars like you got the bottom bunk in a 2-man cell. He tried to get a bar off right quick. He tried to get his bar off. Hey, no, you got to read it off. He got his bar off.
Some of y'all sharing bars like you got the bottom bunk in a 2-man
cell. He tried to get his bar off. But we appreciate that, man. Respect the culture.
Where would you, if you wrapped that, there's no like where would you wrap that? Like where would you, because it's too long for one line, so you have to break it, but you break it in a weird place. Like how would you wrap that line?
Some of y'all sharing bars like you got the bottom bunk
and it's not, there's no rhyme to it, right? He didn't do it.
No, there's no rhyme. You have that's just one bar, so you have to come up with a whole new bar before that to set it up.
Some of you sharing bars. Like you got the bottom bunk in a 2-man cell.
Toure, no.
And now I'm just trying to.
Tomatoes. Can we get tomatoes in the chat, please, for Toure's attempt?
Call for tomatoes. Yo, can we just shout for a second? Selena just wrote toward the goat, but like that's pounds. She's coming in from England on the super chat. Yeah. I appreciate that immensely. Evening for her. I appreciate that.
Hold on. First of all, that's a King Kunta bar. And anyone who knows me knows I don't listen to that song, so I didn't know that. I don't. They're so funny. Yo, y'all are funny. They set my black ass up.
You don't fuck
They
with that
set me
song.
up. Y'all are hilarious. I don't listen to that song. It's the one Kendrick song I don't listen to. Y'all gonna kill me? I don't know one lyric from that song. Because I don't listen to that shit.
We're dead. Dude, shout out to wow, now we're getting tomatoes. Here we go.
That's hilarious. Y'all are so.
But it's 6 p.m. in London, so shout out to Selena rocking with us at dinner time.
Marty McFly caught it right away. He said, Green hate that song. Did Green not recognize his King Kunta? Of course not. I don't listen to the damn song.
EMI, that is a Kendrick line from King Kunta. Yes,
I love that. Yes. Hey, but wait, hey, that doesn't give Touré any excuse, though. That don't give Touré any excuse.
I don't listen to all the records every morning and remember every line. Some of y'all sharing bars like you got them on 2 man's hell.
Okay, hold on. Felicia goes, I have never done a super chat anywhere, but y'all are making me frustrated. Sorry, Felicia. We love you. You're saying this man is not rapping. So where is the genius in this?
Wait. I didn't say that was genius, Felicia. I said if he just says, write me a rhyme, and doesn't give any specific direction on where we're going, and then the process they rhyme and they change it into Kanye.
Your mic just cut out. Hold on a second.
I'm like,
there you go.
Where?
Your mic keeps cutting in and out.
Really?
It's green. Yeah. It starts turning to your like computer mic, but we'll fix that. So say what you said again.
The scenario that Green laid out, where Kanye says, "Write me a rhyme," and that's it, and the kid writes a rhyme, and the AI changes to Kanye. I'm like, where's the Kanye in that? There's no Kanye in that process. Mm-hmm. Kanye, I do want to see him having a much more conversation about what we're going to say in this rhyme than that sort of AI scenario. That would disappoint me. But what I was saying before was that I would hope and expect that if Kanye is using AI, he would elevate our understanding of what the technology could do and not just use it to sort of cheat into a verse.
I laid out two things about that. I laid out exactly what you see in the interview of how it works. I laid out what happened. But he's actually said he's doing all the chops and samples. So he's actually special guest coming through. The special guest is coming through. 3000 overrated. Back from the dead. He was out. He's here.
Yo, how was the lockup? How's the lockup? I put some money on your books. You get it?
I did. I appreciate you. It was a highlight of my day to see that. Thank you.
How many push-ups you do in the joint?
How many push-ups did I eat?
No, how many push-ups did you do?
You're breaking up right now. I'm sorry. I can't.
He said, "How many push-ups did you do?"
I heard him. I just was ignoring that. Because,
he's ignoring that.
I'm more of a reader. I'm more of a reader in this time. As I'm doing my time, I'm more of a reader. You know,
Kanye hates you. What did you do? I'll text you if you need me to. What happened, son? Tell us the story.
All I did was I decided I wanted to share a Nat Geo documentary, and I was blown away by the amount of people who were interested in the science. And it just happened to have a musical backdrop. And for whatever reason, people were like, "Oh my God, this must be the Grammys." It wasn't that. It was just I had a projector behind me.
He just had a projector. It was just he was trying a new vibe for the studio.
That's it. Like I said, all I'm saying is there might have been a show on Sunday that conflicted with the terms and service of this environment that we are in right now. I'm trying to talk in code. But according to everybody who was in there, the 54,000 people that came in there, the fourth largest stream in the world behind AP and Kai Cenat and the Grammys themselves. The environment that we are in currently right now did not like that very much. They said, no, you are getting locked up for a week.
You are the fourth largest stream in the world?
In the world. And I didn't even know that until I got on Twitter, and I was like, shh, that's dope, but shh, be quiet. Like,
he was the fourth largest. Of course you're gonna get taken out.
I didn't do
that
that.
moment,
Look,
you were the fourth largest in the world?
I was the fourth largest when I had 41,000 people. That's what they documented it. I ended with 54,000. So I was still the third.
But like at that moment in the world, there were only three. That's what you're saying. Like,
yeah.
Well, the top four that were reacting to the music documentary that was streaming.
Got it. Within that specific subject. Okay.
Just that subject.
Wow.
Not in the whole. I mean, I'm pretty sure there was probably some gaming channels or something that had, but I saw that and I was like, huh?
Are you still in jail?
Yes, for until Sunday. Funny the timing of that, right?
Hey. So we just broke you out?
No, you didn't break me out. You're basically FaceTiming me from my cell.
Oh, we FaceTime from the cell. Hold on, we got a super chat. We got a really big super chat. We got a really big super chat from Emmy. According to Rap Latte, Curtis King is greater than King Kunta. You don't get that, Curtis?
100%.
Because he is. He's 3,000 better. You don't get that because I told everybody yesterday in the chat, and then they fucking played me today. But I told everybody in the chat yesterday that I don't like the song King Kunta, and I don't like it because I don't like the bass line. It's the one song that I don't like that's West Coast. I like everything West Coast. I don't like the bass line. It doesn't hit me, so I don't listen to the song. So the way that they play me today, someone did a super chat with lyrics from King Kunta, and I read it like, oh, that's supposed to be a bar. And then they go, yeah, you don't know that shit because you don't listen to King Kunta. Them niggas got me.
The chat tricked us. But you know what, though?
They got me.
To your credit, you immediately recognized, no, that's a bar, right?
That's a bar.
Like you got a blind taste test of Kendrick, and you're like, that line sucks. What's up with that? And like, oh, it's Kendrick. You got a blind taste test on Kenny, and you were like, oh,
it's a bar.
That's a bar.
You know what it is? It's just embedded in your Celtic DNA. That's why you acting like that. Luka's a Laker.
Oh, don't get into that. You know what? I'm okay with y'all having. This is why I like.
Wait, are you good, Green?
Yeah, this is why I like the Luka trade because it instantly makes. Because I didn't want Luka to have that the win at the Mavericks and he get all the credit. So now it instantly makes it look like LeBron helped him learn how to win. Like that's the legacy now. LeBron helped him learn how to win. And now he's a Laker. I like him over there. I like Luka over on your side.
Let's take a step back.
Go ahead.
There's a reason why Dallas traded him. Dallas understands he's a problem, and we are not going in the correct direction, right? The easiest thing in the world would be to hold on to Luka Doncic. But they're about to have to give him a big, long deal. Nigga shows up fat every year. He's drinking beer during the season. We can't. Clearly, shit happened between last year, getting to the finals, whatever, last year behind. I mean, dealing with Kyrie is a lot. And I didn't think dealing with Luka was a lot, but clearly it's a lot. So now the Lakers have those problems. And I don't know that LeBron, for the 1 or 2 tops years he has left in LA, he's going to be able to change this motherfucker's mindset to now he's going to start working out all the time and doing 4 a.m. workouts. And you might have just bought yourself a problem. In 5 years, you might be like, yo, that was a shitty deal. Also, Luka could leave this summer.
You know, some people talking Pig Latin, some people talking Celtic. And that's all I'm hearing right now is a lot of Celtic conversation right now. I can't understand. I know there's a reception.
But I'm not necessarily a Celtic fan in this conversation.
You said.
Anyways, chat is getting at us for being sports latte right now. Chat's getting at us. They calling us sports latte. Latte.
That's my fault, Chat.
Sorry. But yeah, Tura, you need. I think you need to unplug your mic and plug it back in because it like switched up. Try that out real quick. But let me talk to Curtis some more about this Ye stuff because this is the stuff that you love to talk about, but then your fan base be mad at you. This AI shit. One of my favorite things in that. Did you see the Ye interview? Let me ask you that first.
I did. I
watched that shit.
I caught him and all that.
All right, so one of the things he says. Yeah, you good now. One of the things he said was, or he even showed. He showed how Little RT basically, I believe it's him, recorded a verse. His engineer uses the AI tool that I've used before to show people how to do it, uses the AI tool to change the voice to himself. So someone wrote and recorded a verse and then changed the voice to Kanye. And then he's like, yeah, this is my song. Instead of me having to do this myself, why would I do that? I could just convert this. And he's saying people said this shit about auto-tune. They didn't like auto-tune. They said it's not real. It's not human. They said that about sampling. People still some have that feeling where sampling is taking other people's hard work and then using it and presenting it as your own. So he's saying that AI, me doing that with AI, is basically the same thing, which I don't totally disagree with him. But I have my opinion and why I think that it's incorrect and why I don't like that method that he's using. But I want to know how you think about that, because he did that and that's what he displayed to us, that this is a verse that someone else recorded and now I've made it my voice. How you feel about that?
So, I got two different looks on this one. The first one is I'm first of all, I'm a Kanye fan. I've been a Kanye fan through the worst of times, through the best of times. And it's just at a point where it's just like I'm gonna always respect his musicality and also too his ability to see into the future, right? There's been times where he's been spot on, and even when people were aggressively against him, they came around to it. I think about the influence he had after 808s and Heartbreaks. I think about the influence he had on autotune after that. I think about the influence he had even on distortion of the vocals. Like when I hear Kendrick's Mr. Morale and I hear the rock singers in the beginning of these songs are these really operatic or whatever opera type singers, I think about beautiful twisted dark fantasy, and I feel like that is part of the influence. He has done this many of times. He's changed the sound of music. So I think it's true. I think it's in true Kanye fashion for him to try to find out, how can I be the first, even if I'm not the first, the most popular first, to conquer something, to be the one that goes in first. And Jay-Z even said it, that Kanye is the type of person that he'll go over the mountain and take the arrows. This is what he's always done. So when I see this, I have my personal opinions about AI. I love when AI is my assistant. I don't like when AI is touching the keys on my keyboard. I don't like when AI is changing the most enjoyable part about creating, which is me tapping into my brain and I love the struggle. Resistance builds muscle. I have my own issues with that, right? But when it comes to like ChatGPT crunching numbers for me, I'd rather you do it than me pull out this big ass calculator with my bifocals and do like this. I'd rather you handle that. Right. But yeah, so with Kanye, when I'm seeing this, here's my thing. Instead of getting so angry and upset with him using it, just realize he's going to do the same thing he did with 808s and Heartbreaks. He's going to abandon it. He's going to move on to something else.
I think auto-tune and AI, in the way that Green has explained the usage of AI in this specific case, are massively different, right? Auto-tune is just about it's just about the way that it sounds. AI, the process, he didn't actually rap that. I would be like, you produced that track, but you didn't rhyme on it. The computer rhymed on it. And that's what you presented, a computer MC with your production. Like, okay, that's how I would look at that. I would look at that, you didn't rap that song because you didn't do anything.
You're taking the IP also. You're taking someone's likeness entirely. The auto-tune is just correcting based upon the parameters that you said. You tell it, hey, this is an A minor. It's going to readjust every vocal to the scale of A minor. That is a tool. This is a replacement for the likeness in someone's literal.
I don't agree with that conceptually, in the sense that I think everything's a freaking tool. I think everything's a tool because I agree with the former statement that we were talking about artists in general. Like an artist like Kehinde Wiley might just paint the face, but someone painted the background and all that type of stuff, and he still puts it in the situation, in the gallery. Bansky can not paint anything, stencil it, and freaking put it in on a wall. Same thing with freaking Andy Warhol. Just takes this picture of Madonna and let me just repress it, right? Did he paint this thing? What is art, right? What is art? It's the authorship, it's the concept, it's the curation, that's what art is, and that's what being creative really is at its core. But you've changed your voice to something else, when you use auto-tune. I would say that. Yes, it's a tool, but you've changed. That's not your voice. So someone could say that that's not art and that's not you, the same way that I could say that this voice is not you. I'll get to why I don't like it in a second, but I'm saying like that's the same thing with sampling that people use all the time. Like, yo, look at this. I just chopped up this sample and now I have this guitar from this place and this bass from this place. You didn't play any of those things. It's not to artists, to actual musicians. They look at you like and say like, this is not human. That's how they looked at sampling. And some people still look like that, and that's why they will not let their shit get sampled.
That was a misunderstanding of sampling.
It's not a misunderstanding of sampling. It's not agreeing. No. It's not agreeing with the philosophy.
No, it is, because you're talking about human to human interaction versus human to computer interaction.
Yeah.
Right. Even with auto-tune, you need to know how to set the parameters as a human.
What's human to human? How is it not human to computer if I take an MPC and sample your song? How's that not a computer?
I didn't tell the recording is from a human. I didn't ask the computer what to do. I picked a loop from a Dizzy Gillespie song, looped it in a specific way, presented it in
not
a
everybody
way.
No. You got okay.
That.
No. You did that. You didn't play that horn lick. Okay? You used this machine that was created. This machine was able to take this sound, right? Or this beat and put it in here, and now you used it. Now this artist, let me put a hole in that logic. You're saying that I went and found that Dizzy Gillespie thing. What if you don't find any of your samples? There's plenty of producers like that. It's like, yo, find me a whole bunch of shit. Give me a library. Are they producing if they get all their library? If you get your shit from all these other places and then you put it in, you're still a producer. You're still creating.
The reason why AI is different than all the other tools is that AI is making decisions.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Of course.
No,
it
listen
is.
to this. No. Listen. Let me reiterate what's actually happening, and I know you know, Curtis, but I just want to reiterate what happened in that song. Little RT recorded a vocal.
Yeah.
The AI, which is a generative tool, and it's not like really artificial intelligence. We got to be real about this too. It's not something thinking. There's not a thing that's thinking here. It's through an algorithm changing this vocal tones and inflections to make it sound like Kanye West. So it didn't think of that. It didn't think. No one thought about anything except for the person that said, let me make this voice sound like this voice. We just don't like that. But there's no, it's a tool.
Difference though.
Two different AIs would make different decisions. They're different
tools. What'd you say?
Two different AI programs would make different decisions. They are
let's be specific of what we're talking about. We're talking about Kanye West taking a vocal, running it through a plugin. Now that plugin changes it to his voice. That's what we're talking about. Kanye took.
I want to get Curtis back on the subject, but before we go too long, I just want to make sure I acknowledge this super chat from Brazil, from Pedro, who's saying he's discovered a lot of amazing people through our show and through the beef. Much love from Brazil, which that's amazing. Could you guys listen to BK? He's an amazing rapper from Brazil. I've never heard of BK, but I will definitely check him out on your acknowledgement. Hit us back and tell us what songs or albums to start with so we fully understand BK from Brazil. Wow, I love that. That's amazing.
Let me reiterate this thing, and Curtis, let me say this, because people are saying like AI can write its lyrics, blah, blah, blah. Why are we jumbling AI as one thing? I hate that. It's not one thing that's doing a whole bunch of things. That doesn't even exist yet. You're talking about AGI. You're talking about super intelligence when you're talking about something that's just doing everything and it's one thing. That doesn't exist yet. These are algorithms. There's algorithms that can create these tools for us, right? This specific tool that Kanye's using is what I want to kind of stick on, because if we're just talking about AI in general, that's different. We're talking about this guy used this man to record for himself, put a plugin on it. That plugin is right next to the auto-tune plugin. And what it did, if he put auto-tune on it and turned it all the way up, that little RT's voice would sound not human. It would sound like something else. It would not sound like his actual voice, right? Because if you take that plugin off, it's going to sound dry. It's going to sound like there's nothing on it. It's not going to be pitched correctly, right? And it sounds like a robot when you put autotune all the way up, right? We understand that. It sounds like a robot. We all sound the same on autotune. Now, he's taking that tool, putting it on Lil RT's voice, and now it sounds like Kanye. The device didn't make that concept come up. That's all I'm arguing about. I'm arguing that the device did. Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the problem that is what you're lining up right there, is that I don't think it's a matter of the use of the technology as much as it is the ethical use of the technology. When I'm thinking about how you're taking on the likeness of someone else, that is very different. If I don't know that this is AI and I think that Kanye wrote something and I come to find out it's actually a child named RT, Lil RT, that wrote that, there's a misleading nature to that, in the same way that we see deep fake videos, in the same way we see things that become problematic. This is the same issue that I had with Suno, who was the AI generating website that was basically taking from master recordings on the internet without anybody's permission and then saying, yeah, generate your own music, and it's pretty much from your prompt. And it's like, no, they're taking from Al Green, they're taking from all these different influences, the Isley brothers, without permission. And I look at even this situation and I'm like, no, it's very different, because that's not like if I put auto-tune on Lil RT, it's gonna sound like Lil RT with the voice that is fluctuating because of it trying to correct the key. It's not gonna change the identity of it. But to pass this along as Kanye,
it does, though,
and his Lil RT, that's not a different person. You're borrowing a style, not a human being's identity and voice.
I want to throw out one
that's
other.
An ethical. I agree with you. That's an ethical thing, and ethics come from personal and societal perspectives. I agree with you. It's completely an ethical question, but it's not a technical question, because you're saying that autotune is the same person's voice, but we don't know I don't know the difference between 17 of these Lils, because they sound exactly the same. How many people sound like Travis Scott? How many people sound like 30,000 of these kids sound like Travis Scott with the same auto-tune settings? They copy each other and they want to sound the same. So I agree with you. It's ethics. But go ahead,
Curtis. What is the other on a shift? What is the other big thing? You watched the interview. What is the other big thing that you got out of the interview that jumped out at you?
Really?
The Kanye interview.
And I'm going to do a story about it tomorrow, when he disclosed that, I guess, his wife Bianca told him to go to a doctor and get truly diagnosed if he's bipolar. And he said that the conclusion was that he's actually on the spectrum, that he has autism. As a father of a child, 7-year-old, that is on the spectrum, that's really interesting to me, because I'm always thinking of, what the unique wiring of children that are on the spectrum, what that could actually equal out for them in their independence in this world. So when I heard that for the first time, a lot of things started making sense, because I realized through my research, through every day I take my son to school, I see other kids, they really do kind of operate in their own timing, their own world, their own logic. They connect things in a very different way. That's why you get some kids on the spectrum that are like supremely hyper focused on creativity. And there's a guy I remember who was autistic, who had the ability to look at a building in a city one time and from memory put every little minute detail into a painting. And it's just incredible. So when I think about Kanye and the amount of times that he has been right and the amount of times that he's been wrong, in my eyes, I have to understand that this is from the POV of somebody that is wired very differently from me. So I'm really intrigued by that.
He did. That was a big moment. He did not, and no one has really, for me, explained, well, what is the difference to you, bipolar versus autism, and how are we supposed to be reading? Because before that, they were talking about episodes. How do you know you're entering an episode? How do you deal with when you're in an episode? And Kanye was responding to that, and bipolarism would have episodes and would, sort of rise and fall. Like autism functions a little bit differently. It doesn't, right? It doesn't come and go like for episodes. Like you are autistic, and that's the way you see the world. He was also in that moment using that as a way to explain that he is a contrarian and why he likes Trump, which doesn't make any fucking sense.
I knew you was gonna say that. It's funny when he said that. I wondered if he was like, "Oh, that's how I get out of that one. I'll just go ahead and say it's this." That's where I'm like, "All right, my boy." Like, I'll say this. When he said when he got to that point, I started asking myself, "Okay, are you just in denial about the bipolar disorder?" Because it seems like he's kind of grappled with that. Even on the was it Kids See Ghosts, or was it I Love Being Bipolar, or whatever that project was with the mountain. He talks about how much superpower it is. But he doesn't sound like he's in that same it's a superpower anymore. It sounds like he's saying, no. My wife, who's very educated on this topic, says that it might be something else, and now it's not that. He's kind of like leaving away from
it's
that.
how he's trying to tackle it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I see that kind of back and forth, I think about that and I say, well, first of all, you should never be the one self-diagnosing, right? Second of all, he didn't really make a strong connection that a doctor said, here's your paperwork and this is what, because there's different levels. It's on a spectrum, right? When you talk about being autistic, like he didn't say that. So when I saw that, I was like, are we getting closer to understanding a lot of the things that were beyond understanding for Kanye?
Well, let's say something to the chat. Let me interrupt and say that the chat says this, and I agree with it. Luke said this. Erica M said this. Another John, I believe, said this. Says, "I'm autistic too, but I'm not an asshole. I have autism, and so might he. But that's not why he's acting like a damn fool." So that's the thing. We and someone also said Kanye's outburst may track with Asperger's, and this can go like that. We don't know his medical history. We don't know his actual diagnosis. So we can't speculate on those things. But the number one thing we can say is that those things don't make you a fucking asshole.
Right.
Yeah.
No, the contrarianism is in him.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. One thing I will say though, I do think that there's a lot of kids that I've met. There's a lot of teenagers I've met, a lot of adults that I've met. And because of the way that they are connecting the dots, sometimes I don't think they realize they're being an asshole, right? Or they're saying something that we can interpret as being an asshole.
Oh no, okay. I made that a blanket statement, so I don't want to make it look like I said like you have to be like socially understand everything socially just because when you're autistic. What I'm trying to say is that if you're praising the H man and you're you're running around with who's the other guy who seems like he might be on the spectrum too, who's in the government right now, but you're like out here being a racist. I don't care. I don't care what's going on with you. You're a racist and it's detrimental to thousands and millions of people. That's what I'm talking about that specifically. So I don't want to seem insensitive to anyone on the spectrum by saying like you can't be an asshole and all that type of stuff. But I'm saying publicly and what you do, like, okay, so if you had some sort of psychosis, but you were out here like murdering people on a spree. That doesn't mean it's okay. Like, it doesn't mean it's okay. That's what we're talking about. The things that Kanye is doing is not okay. The things that he's done is not okay. Some of the things that he's done. And look, we're looking for redemption, it seems like, as fans of him. Like, we're still looking for redemption. And I don't know if we should.
I'll tell you this. As a father of a son, I've seen different parents. This is going to be a crazy statement, but I'll stand on it. I've seen some parents weaponize and try to seek entitlement over other kids in the same classroom. And that's a dynamic I had never even thought about, in that some parents kind of encourage quote unquote asshole behavior because they know that they can get away with it. And I'm talking about this from being a son that is probably one of only two Black kids in the classroom. And I'm not using that as a crutch or an excuse. I raised my son to feel like he can achieve anything, but I've seen certain situations where one kid gets prioritized over the other because of the kind of energy the parent has. And so I've seen even situations where folks, like even at shows, I've had gentlemen that come up to me and feel like he's entitled to my time and what I'm talking about, even if I'm in the middle of a different conversation. So there's a different level of this that I feel like it's going to get real dicey if we get too deep. But I just say this as a parent that has done a lot of research to understand it. I'm still understanding it by the day. I'll probably never truly understand it. But as I empathize with my son and try to figure this out with him, and I meet a lot more children and adults on the spectrum. It's just one of them things where it's like I agree with you in that you can't, no matter what your disposition is, it doesn't excuse things in society that are just like inexcusable for some people, right?
Doesn't excuse hatred and like negative, like actual hatred and possible suffering.
The other thing that jumps out at me with Kanye right now, because he's you may have seen that he's married to the most Googled woman in the person in the world right now. That's his big tagline with Bianca. But it's just weird. The whole Bianca thing is weird. She comes off like a Barbie doll who does whatever he says. She doesn't seem to have agency. She doesn't seem to have her own part or place in this relationship. She's just a prop for him who seems to wear whatever he wants. And even if he's like, you're going to get naked tonight, like, she's like, sure, whatever you want. And it's freaking weird. Is it creeping you out at all?
You know what's crazy? I just saw a theory about this today, and I wish I can give the lady credit for this. But I saw it on one of the pages I follow. Like, I follow like a lot of like Black consciousness pages. I just especially anything about Dr. Umar. I know you got your views, but can't nobody tell me wrong about Dr. Umar. He said real side note. He said you said that I look so good that you want to eat me on this live stream. He said, sister. He said, consciousness over the cookies. I said, that made my day there. Anyways, in the midst of me looking at that video, I saw another video that had a theory that I think is interesting. It says, in the same way, it's just a theory. In the same way that you once saw black women and children on during slavery times on the auction block, right, where they're in the nude and they're put out there in display in the public. She said, what if this is his reason? What if this is his logic of, I'm going to put a Caucasian woman out here naked?
No.
I'm not saying I justify it. I'm saying that's what it is. I just saw the theory and I was like, we already don't know how Kanye thinks. I know I don't. But when I saw that, I was like,
wait, re-say that one more time, because I be checking. Honestly, I be checking out when we talk about somebody's wife, because it's like, I don't care about this man's wife.
I get it.
But go ahead, re-say that.
Let me clarify, Rap Latte fans. This is not Curtis King's theory. This is something I saw. This is something I saw on the same Instagram that you got. Anyways, this lady said, she said, hold on, I want to put a theory out there, ladies and gentlemen. And she showed a picture of like a painting of black bodies on the auction block during slavery and how they were displayed to slave owners and they were bidded on, right? She made a connection between that and could that be Kanye putting out his Caucasian wife to the public and displaying her in front of people who are telling her, you need to put your clothes on. And she's like, no, I do what
here's the thing.
They're making some kind of connection.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Tell that Dr. Umar shit.
That is not Curtis's. This is not Curtis's theory. I'm just sharing it to the conversation. That's all I'm doing.
But here's the thing, right? Curtis, your Dr. Umar is Green's King Kuta. Here's the thing.
We must stay focused.
After the way that the Kim relationship ended, that last period of it when they weren't really in it anymore and he was being really the creepy ex who won't leave you alone and is making the problems public, and it seems that it's more elemental than this sort of racial redemption thing, but just like he treats his women shitty and he treats them as shitty as they'll allow. And when he was dating Kim, she wouldn't allow that much. And then they broke up and he sort of was a super asshole to her. And now Bianca lets him treat her like this, and that's how they rock. And like, he doesn't seem to have much respect for women and treats them like crap. And like, I don't even know what kind of psychological issues he's dealing with as far as Bianca as a continuation of the Kim relationship, because you can't look at her and not say she looks just like Kim. Like, God damn, you married a chick who looks exactly like your last wife. Like, what is that about?
He has his own thing. He had two things about that to dispel the whole teppery that's going on right now. It's just like Kanye does slide from this like Hotep angle to this like white validation angle. He's like always playing both sides, and it's very weird. Now, let me finish this. It's very weird because go ahead.
One second. Love Weapon made an amazing point. Ye thought slavery was a choice. He didn't even believe in slavery. So he can't be like, now he's making a comment about slavery via his wife and shit. Please continue.
But go back to late registration, and he's talking about this is crazy. It's that crack music, that real black music. La, da, da. It's the same human being. This is why, once again, back to the original point, he cannot deny the existence of a bipolar disorder. Isn't that part of a bipolar disorder in that you go to extremes at a time with
But he also doesn't write all his stuff. He also doesn't write all his stuff. He's also comes out of here. So if Rhymefest is saying this is that crap music, that black music, if Sci-Hi's saying all that Brad stuff, like you treat Brad differently on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Sci-Hi's right in that. How are we giving him credit for this when he doesn't even write all the stuff? He might have the energy. He might feel the energy of that and feel like it matters, but that doesn't mean he really represents that. Because all we know about Kanye is that he cares about himself. That's all we know for a fact.
Have you seen the way he talks to people in the studio? Do you think they're bringing him songs and telling him what to rap about?
Yes. Yes.
Wait. How does he talk to people in the studio?
When I saw the video, I mean, I've seen a few different videos, and mind you, it seems like he kind of graduated from the school of Dame Dash when he was at his dashes, right? His period where it was like you don't want to mess with him if you're an exec. He gonna say and speak his mind, and I feel like that's kind of the schooling he came underneath. When I saw the clip that came out about him in the studio, I think with Chance the Rapper, and he's just cussing people out, and he's having what seems to be an episode. I just don't see that environment. Even when people start leaving the environment and they talk about it, they say, it wasn't the easiest environment for me to be in as a producer. When I see that kind of stuff, all I can think about is that this is someone that surrounds himself by the best, but doesn't care that they're the best. His decision-making rules above all. I saw, I forget the artist's name, but there was an interview with a well-accomplished rock artist that he invited to the studio, and he didn't talk to him for the whole whatever X amount of hours they were there because it's a machine. You go in that room, you do this, you go in this and do this. He's the mastermind, and a lot of folks are around him, you know, because I'm sure to some level it pays well, and it's good to be part of history for some people. So the way he talks, I cannot imagine that people often get the opportunity to tell him what to rap about. I just think he'll get in a bag and say, yo, I need something on some like real black consciousness right now. I'm in that bag. You know what? I need something that talks about this. And I feel like they listen because, you know, do you want to get on his bad side?
You know what I think a lot about is I love Click, the record with Big Sean, and Hove was on it too. And Kanye comes in talking about yeah, I'm talking business. We talking CIA. I'm talking George Tenet. I seen him the other day. And I'm like, what fucking ghost is thinking about George Tenet? Like, not even a famous official, but like, you know, like you got to be into politics to know that name. Like, what the fuck? Who the fuck said, yo, you should talk about George Tenet in the scene. That'd be funny. He asked me about my Maybach. Think he had the same. Like, well, I'm always who the fuck thought of that?
It's all right. I give up. I have given up a long time ago. When it came to trying to understand, I just react. I see it and I say, all right, there it is. It's there. It's right there.
Okay.
How does it sound?
There's a difference between directing people, like you said, oh, talked about some black consciousness shit. Yeah, he might know because he's great at curating. He might know that, yeah, man, let's say some edgy stuff here and this black shit here. And, oh, I'm also going to say if her butthole is bleached because, yeah, that's edgy and people like when I do that version of Kanye. And I'm also going to do this because these are the things that he's into, and he likes to contrast things because that's his thing. He loves contrasting these things, but doesn't mean that someone else is not providing him that information and giving him perspective, because it doesn't seem like he doesn't read. So it's not like he's out here reading who these people are. So you're like saying, who would know that? Not him either. Nigga don't even read. The nigga just made fun of people who read the other day, said, so the nigga don't know shit. unless it's spoken to him. So obviously he's influenced by others. He seems like a sponge, someone who's easily influenced by others, but obviously has feeling. He works with an emotion. And someone who's working with emotion and they get information for somebody, if it doesn't make them feel good, they don't like that information. So if he gets an information that makes him feel good, he reflects it. That's simply how he is. The guy's not brilliant at anything other than curating shit. But go ahead.
I want to address this real quick.
Go ahead.
Chandra, how you doing, Chandra? Curtis really folds when it comes to accountability for rappers. He holds in esteem like Snoop and Ye. Let me tell you something, because then somebody says all black men do. Hold on just a second there. You must not be familiar with
you got muted.
I challenge every single rapper, but at the same time, y'all ain't got to run into them in real life. I'm going to. Anything that I say here is what I will say to their face. This is because I've been around these folks, and I know what that can turn into. I just went to an event, the Will I Am event, and I seen somebody that I made a reaction video, and he looked at me and said, I know what that is. I get it. This is what happens, but this comes with the nature of podcasting. It comes with the nature of doing YouTube. I understand it, but I still stand on what I say. So what I'm saying is, as an artist, first of all, I make music. I'm a producer and an artist. So I sympathize with being in a position where you have a responsibility that's above your pay grade. I get that. But at the same time, I know when some artists do fuck shit, I'm going to call it out every single time. So let's not, I know it's really easy to make blanketed statements like that, but that bothers me because I really do challenge and hold the artists that I look to a higher light, and I challenge them on things that I'm like, that should be said in real life and on the internet. So that's it. I'm just continuing.
I appreciate that. I respect that. I like that. Keep it real. Keep it real. I'm not gonna say something here and then run into you and be like, "Oh, I was just kidding."
I was just kidding. Yeah, I think that's an important thing.
15 minutes left. Because Green got to go do a show because he's a touring artist. But look, DJ Khaled announced he's dropping another one early March. I think it's March 7th that he said is coming out. He said he got 2 Drake joints. Here's the 2 questions that I'm dealing with. Khaled is so fucking corny. And yet he is such a critical part of this modern culture. Is he not? He's an important part. He's been a part of creating a lot of important records. God did perhaps the most of them. So I just want to understand from you guys who are deeper in the industry than I am, how does he do it? Does he come up with like, here's $1 million cash and I'm going to distribute this among 5 artists or whatever, or 7 artists so I can get 10 features or whatever? Like, how does he come up with, everybody would love to have a feature list like that on their records. Like, how does he do it?
I don't have a plug or I don't have a connection to Khaled, at least the one that I can think of right now. What I will say is, just like in any other situation where somebody who the public may view in many times as being cheesy or corny, money talks. And I think that one thing that I do give him credit for, even though I can't stand when people make comparisons because I'm light skinned with a beard and they say, "Oh, who's this Khaled looking guy?" I don't like that. I don't. Curtis Khaled is not funny at all. I'm not. Look, joking me.
I would never assume you got that. Niggas say that to you?
Damn. I was at a Little Caesars years ago, a Little Caesars in Redlands, California. And these 4 white kids came in and they was like, "We the best." I said, I just know the fuck y'all not talking about me. I just know y'all not talking about me right now. With that said, though,
the problem was you was at a Little Caesars. That was your whole problem.
No, there's 4 of them because otherwise, somebody gotta get this hand for that.
It was kids, but like that, but nonetheless, I just say this. Khaled has for sure stamped himself as a DJ in his region, and there's a lot of people who look at him as being an OG who has done his work and he has earned his spot. That's something that you can't take away. Now,
is he a club DJ or a radio DJ?
He was a DJ
for sure.
Yeah, he was.
I think both, right?
And radio.
He did both club and radio.
He got Carfax. There's a lot of work that I think that it's really easy to get blinded by the "you smart, you know, shit, like you know, we the best. It's really easy to get blinded by that version of him and forget like there was one part of him that was putting in a lot of work. Then there's another version of him that has made some weird statements about, you know, what's a beat maker, what's a producer, but then his actual actions don't line up to what's going on. I just say this. I think that a lot of people overlook what we would categorize as corny behavior if you put money in their pockets, if you brought somebody their first plaque, if you are a bridge between different entities like a Rock Nation or you know, oh, you can get me to Jay. I don't see no corny. All I see is my guy. Let's build. And every single time, one thing he has done on every single project, with the exception of Tyler, is embrace artists and bring them into these moments, which sometimes it's their biggest moments, their first platinum hit, their first, you know, Billboard charting song. He did that with Kendrick earlier on too. I remember when Kendrick was a feature and they went and shot it out there in the Carson studio, studio that the TDE had. So like he's been amongst the people, but I still got my feelings, you know, because of some obvious reasons, but that's how I kind of read that.
Wait, what was that last thing?
I said I got my feeling, you know, because I don't want to get no comparison. When this name get brought up, I get very uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable because then people start bringing it back. I got rid of
all that love shit. It's just so corny. Green, what do you think?
I had to get my headphones all set up. Let me see if I hear y'all.
Yeah, you good. I mean, just the nigga is corny, but he's incredibly successful as far as getting the culture to step up when he wants to make a record. And he's been incredible.
Couple hits.
Year after year. How does he do it?
More than a couple. Khaled also understands by being a DJ because, like you said, he has the Carfax. He has the understanding of music and marketing, which people don't give him credit for. Yeah, he's like corny kind of to some people and just like a goofball. But two things. By being a DJ, having a certain taste and having ability to curate, because that's what happens with a DJ, he understands what records are and how people move. So he puts together records that make sense for radio. And then he has the marketing mind frame and the ambition to make sure those records work. But he puts together good records, just like You Love God did, right? That other record with Wayne, I Am a Beast. He understands where the talent is, where the attention is. He puts things together the same way that Kanye does if you just break it down, but it's not the same level, obviously. But he curates. He has a certain talent. We can't say that he doesn't. I would say that's ridiculous if you said that he doesn't have it. But
I'm not saying he's not talented.
The way that he keeps on doing that is the way that you do anything in the music industry. Ambition and relationships. That's how things happen.
Can I also add one more to that?
What up?
Can I add one more to that list?
Look.
Acting like you don't see things when they happen that may be too political or too spicy. People are saying it in the chat right now, how he didn't make any statements
about his own place. Yeah.
His own folks. Yeah. That's to me, that's the Michael Jordan approach to, yo, I sell shoes to everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
real quick shout out to Mari.
Spineless marketing.
Who sent us a super chat just because love you guys. Like, that means a lot. That's super sweet.
I love Mari. She's one of our moderators, so thank you for moderating and keeping everything clean in the chat and peaceful. But also, I think Khaled, like, I remember when he went against, or Tyler went against him and says, like, yeah, man, I beat out your shit, and DJ Khaled was like, oh, where is who's Tyler, Creator? The streets ain't listening to him and shit like that. And you're talking about one of the most groundbreaking generational artists that existed. It's like you are not tapped in, and you're tapped into this Hollywood shit. And DJ Khaled got where he is because of his personality on Snapchat, and he got lucky with that moment, right? You know, when he got lost in the situation on the jet skis. So that's the reason why he is who he is and why records started working in this digital age, because he became a caricature of himself, because he really is that guy and he's okay with being that guy, right? That's fine. Yeah. But there is some, he is actually a DJ, but he's also just this corporate entity that understands, like, I don't give a damn about anything but this money. And if you're dealing with these people who don't care about anything about money, you're gonna get that type of art. And I don't mess with it.
Jermaine correctly comes through saying, how can you literally be the most famous Palestinian in the world
right?
and have zero to say about the elephant in the room? It's just weird to me and hard to get past. 100%. 100%. You can't be this gigantic, wealthy Palestinian and say nothing when your people are dying and being genocided and all that sort of stuff. Like,
What if
can't.
even if you don't agree, even if you're on the other side, you didn't say anything? I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy too, but I think it's crazy for artists who are not even a part, who are not connected to it, to not have like a voice or maybe a perspective on it. And if you don't know, because people who just said they didn't know, if you didn't understand or didn't know, ask somebody, get educated on the whole thing.
But he has carved out a serious place in the modern history. He's obviously not some great MC or anything like that, but like, he is a producer, or at least the catalyst for a lot of really hot records that, like, with important artists. Like, it's a really valuable.
You
thing
seem
for the
confused.
culture.
He's like, how did he do? Like, how did this happen?
No, I always think about, that many features on one record. Like, how could you possibly afford that?
Some of them are hookups, and when you get a budget from a label, because all your records worked before, you're getting big fucking budgets. He's playing the label system, right? So he's getting a budget to pay for a lot of these niggas and get them on there, and then he's also has ties and ability to get certain other people on. But the new people that he doesn't know, he's paying these people. He's paying the labels. He's paying the labels for these features. You got to pay. Like, this is the business.
I mean, I'm sure I don't imagine that Jay-Z did because he likes Khaled.
You think Jay-Z got paid for that verse?
Yeah, don't you?
I don't.
I know Hove told me if, like, other MCs he knows, he'll do it on the strength and you'll get me back whenever I want later.
What do you pay Jay-Z for a verse? Think about that, though. But, like, what do you pay Jay-Z for a verse? $1 million?
I have no idea. I mean, why does Jay jump on Khaled's record? He could do anything. He could jump on Kendrick's record. He could jump on anybody's record, right? Why?
He could have that relationship.
He's like, I want to say something this year. Oh, I'll jump on Khaled's record? That's what Jay's thinking?
He has a relationship there. I don't know why that's hard to believe.
But what I'm about to say, the relationship, staying on what you just said, Torre, I've met a lot of these artists, and I feel like it's as easy as one or two relationships. A connection to an investor, a connection to somebody that is, for whatever reason, they love Khaled the most out of anybody in the game. And to leverage that relationship, they play, I'm not saying Jay needs to do that with a Khaled at all, but I'm saying that sometimes that's all it is. Maybe it's his relationship with Jordan. I don't know what that is. But it's easy as that. It's just like people want to get into other.
Khaled has a relationship with Jordan?
I mean, well, Jordan definitely sends him. I want to say he got a Jordan shoe, doesn't he? He has a Jordan signature shoe, doesn't he? Or
and Khaled is his own bona fide marketing entity and influencer. It's like, why do you not want to be associated with that if you're a business person? It makes perfect sense to me. I don't know. Khaled's been there. He's been tied to the biggest in the game, like the CEOs of the game, for decades. He's been in communication with them and having these relationships, business or otherwise. So it makes sense. Like, hey, I really want this verse. What can I do for you to get this verse? And he's probably the guy that, like you just said, hey, Jay, you're trying to do this with this real estate thing. I actually know this guy in Miami. I can connect you with him. You know what I'm trying to say? You never know what it is.
All you need. That's all you need. If you get buddy with Khaled when I go to Florida, I'm good.
Exactly.
This is a valuable comment, super chat from K Way, who said, few artists stand for anything, which is making it hard for us to separate the art from the artists. There are a lot of artists that created good music, but are shitty people. How do you balance that? That is a great question and a much longer question because Green's got to go in like a minute. Yeah. I know when I learned that an artist is a real asshole, I don't want to rock with them anymore. But that doesn't mean you were rude to some people. That means you're like praising, like, the mustache man, like Kanye. Like, what are we talking about?
Right. Well, I say this. How do you know it's not already happening right now with rappers showing their allegiance to the new presidency and showing up at these events that are celebrating the presidency? How do you know it's not happening where these rappers are not showing you where their allegiance truly stands? They've been this the entire time, but were concerned that they would be viewed as a sellout to their people. They were concerned how this would hurt their credibility in hip hop. What if you're seeing that now, and I think a lot of people are having difficulty with coming to grips with that new truth that we don't know these human beings outside of their rapper monikers, outside of their rapper aliases. This is the point that I made in my Snoop Dogg video. It's like, I know Snoop from the POV of being a fan. I don't know Calvin. I don't know his politics. I don't know the things that he values in the new tax bracket he's in, right? I'm sure that he has an appreciation for many different walks of life because he's been literally everywhere and been embraced all over the world. I'm not justifying it at all, ladies and gentlemen. But what I'm saying is I need to have a conversation with myself about why I had these high expectations and why I thought they were in alignment with me. Is that a problem of my assumptions, or is that a problem of his views? If he's always been like this, that's a problem of my assumptions.
I think I agree with you, because you're saying there is a separation between these things, and that separation is up to us. And we need to, my thing is like everything that we consume in this society specifically is attached to something that is can be seen very negative. Everything. Now, flawed as humans are, we look at all of our artists and we need them to be like aligned with us, like holy sometimes. It seems like it needs to be like that. But all of the great artists from the past, the artists we know now, they're all flawed. And some of them heavily flawed. Some people that we herald from the past. I'm talking about from painters to writers, people who are like really messed up people, like psychotic or like they womanizers or
Diddy, we get it.
Completely racist. I'm saying let's go back to people before Diddy. Yeah, so
Puffy's a horrible person. We get it.
Yeah, but he's getting his
You fired him up.
yeah, he be trying to fire it up. But Diddy, everyone's writing off Diddy now though. I'm talking about people that we don't write off and they're in museums. I'm talking about that shit. But how come we're not retroactively being like, you know what, that guy Picasso was a fucking womanizer? Why are we not retroactively doing that?
I think we are. I think that's what culture cancer.
No. I'm talking about specifically. Hold on. Let me finish. Let me land this one because I gotta go and I want to just land this shit. It's just that I don't think we actually are with specifically Picasso. That's what I'm trying to say. We're not actually. No one's actually doing that at all. So taking his shit.
You wanted to cancel Picasso over womanizing?
No, it was more than woman.
Word.
No,
if you're talking about the R word, like Puff. That's one thing.
There's
woman, like having a mistress.
No,
I'm challenging all that. Wait a minute. I'm challenging that, Green. Let me tell you why I'm challenging that. Because right now there's a kid.
I didn't say I want that though. I didn't say that.
Hear me out. There's a kid right now that's like 5 truths that you didn't know about Picasso. He used to beat his wife. He used to do this. He did this. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe while you're at it. There's somebody right now doing that video. We're living in that time. That's why I could do that, because that happens every day where they're pulling somebody's card and saying, here's a perspective I don't think you guys
But you're not taking his paintings off the walls is my point. My point is that his paintings are not coming off the walls. So these artists' music are not coming off the walls. And some people's reaction to this, I'm trying to say, is like, oh shit, Snoop's now his entire catalog and everything he's ever did in the world is like, no, he's a Trumpster, right? That's where they're putting it.
Green.
Yeah.
Are you ever gonna dye your mustache green?
This is what you interrupted. Yeah, I believe. I was over here trying to land the plane. Y'all want to answer?
That is an amazing question.
How about?
Dye your mustache green.
It's Rap Latte. It's Rap Latte.
That's crazy.
Love y'all. First of all, I dyed my beard green. I had a whole green beard before.
Come up top
oh,
with
you
some
did?
Olive,
yeah,
nice
I did.
Olive joint.
That's nice.
This dude. Anyway, Curtis, I'm glad we got you out the. Out the pen. You know what I'm saying? Just for this, a little bit of time. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy your time
off.
off.
Ankle bracelet on. We still fuck with you.
Me. I appreciate you. I'll be out. Free Curtis until it's backwards.
Exactly. Free Curtis. Hashtag Free Curtis in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Go over his first live. When he goes live again, I need y'all to do like 40,000 super chats.
50,000.
I need a pop-out show on Sunday. Sunday. It's the Lord's Day too. Let it Sunday. Come on over. Come on.
Okay, it's Sunday. What are you talking about? Super Bowl Sunday? Super Bowl Sundays when you come back?
No, we're gonna watch a pigskin documentary about a goat.
Hey,
loud, King.
There'd be a nice little zebra in there.
Little pigskin documentary. How they make
name Patrick. You know what it is.
You living dangerous. Curtis, you living dangerous. You living dangerous. Hey,
people ain't gonna find me.
I'm gonna be in Philly. If anybody's in Philly, come through tonight. We're at Milk Boy in Philly tonight. New York tomorrow. We're at Mercury Lounge. Come holler us at the Rap 101 tour.
Yo, we're gonna be on tomorrow talking about the Kendrick interview. We're gonna be right
after
here.
Let's do that.
Right after.
All right, man. See y'all.
Peace.
Hello.